DIGIFY Africa is amongst the 10 NGOs selected to participate in the Aspen Institute and HP Incorporated cohort for the 2023 Digital Equity Accelerator. The program will run over a period of 8 months. NGOs will be at the forefront of addressing social issues and economic inequalities. The Aspen Institute and HP Incorporated says it saw it fit to collaborate with these NGOs in South Africa to ensure that access to technology is rendered to all. To tell us more about this, we are now joined by DIGIFY Africa COO, Qhakaza Mohare. Qhakaza, very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us.
I see that DIGIFY Africa has been selected to be part of the 2023 Digital Equity Accelerator. Share more about this initiative.
Sure. So the Digital Equity Accelerator is an initiative that is brought to us by the Aspen Foundation together with HP Inc. And basically, it fuels social innovation by investing in local nonprofits like ourselves, whose work really addresses various social and economic injustices that are only made worse by an unequal access to technology around the world.
Yeah, and what problem really is this accelerator trying to solve? What do you hope it achieves?
Sure. So the biggest focus of the Digital Accelerator is the advancement of social and economic equity by supporting organizations like DIGIFY Africa to really address the digital divide in the economy, healthcare, and education. So they are supporting 10 organizations in South Africa, Malaysia, and Mexico who work to make education and digital skills more accessible to low-income communities.
Yeah. You've touched on a bit on inequality, and no doubt South Africa is one of the most unequal countries in the world. So how does this economic inequality impact digital inclusion for the marginalized communities?
So while there's been a lot of investment coming through from government and various organizations to make the internet more accessible to our people, there are still massive barriers that affect particularly low-income communities that make that investment really ineffective. So when we are rolling out our various digital skills programs in rural and peri-urban areas specifically, we're faced with 4 main challenges. The first one being infrastructure development and connectivity. Second being access to digital tools like smartphones and laptops. Very low digital literacy levels is also another problem that really impacts our access to just basic to advanced digital skills training. And lastly, it's the very high cost of data. And these four problems really impact more low-income communities than anyone else. But then they also make it very difficult for these communities to really be included into the digital economy and to be able to really benefit from all of the opportunities that are available online.
And how does DIGIFY Africa then seek to, to change the current status quo? How does DIGIFY Africa intend on addressing some of these challenges? Because those 4 key areas you've just mentioned are a make or break in terms of the community's upliftment when it comes to technological advances.
Yeah, so look, it's a very difficult one because it's also like a multi-sectoral problem, so it's not something that only DIGIFY Africa can be able to solve. But I think, in the work that we do, so since our inception 11 years ago, we have been delivering free basic skills training to young people across the country, as well as in Kenya and Nigeria. We've recently wrapped up a digital literacy program that aimed to upskill women, the elderly, and people with disabilities nationwide. We recently have looked at our DIGIFY Pro program and really looked at the challenge of scale. How do we make it more available to more people? So this was initially a face-to-face program that was delivered in cohorts of 13. And now we've really started looking at technology and how do we open this up. So we currently have a cohort of 600 young people who are going through it, thanks to the development of a new online learning platform and an app that we've developed. So these 600 young people are going to go through a very intensive 10-week program and then graduate into the DIGIFY marketplace, where there'll be a dedicated team of people who are helping match them to work opportunities. We're also really excited about our work within the mobile learning space. We sat and asked ourselves a question, how do we use WhatsApp as a platform for us to deliver educational content?
Right.
And we are quite proud to say that in the last 3 years, 2 to 3 years, we have now had about over 500,000 learners who have consumed over 80 years of learning content through WhatsApp and our WhatsApp learning chatbots. So really at the core of what we do with DIGIFY Africa is to ask ourselves the question, how do we use technology to make education more accessible to those who are living in the poorest parts of South Africa?
And what kind of support will DIGIFY Africa receive, and how will that level and kind of support help advance your efforts?
So it's quite a privilege, and a great opportunity for an organization like ours to be accepted to this Digital Equity Accelerator. Because first, we get to interact with and learn from 9 other organizations who are just as passionate about the digital gap and the digital divide, also digital equity and education. The Aspen Institute will also be offering us months of mentorship and capacity building sessions with industry leaders who are really going to be helping us solve some of the major challenges that come with the work that we do. And lastly, we've got a great equipment sponsorship coming through from HP that's going to allow us to go into these communities with these much needed devices, the laptops, so that when we come in and we are doing our digital skills training, we can also be able to say, here are some laptops for you to work with. So I think the skills development and the capacity building, as well as the hardware, that is being donated, is really going to help us in widening our reach and deepening the impact that we can have in the country and the continent at large.
And how long will this program run, and where? Just share more details.
So the program is running over the next 8 months, and it is a completely digital program. We are really excited to get into, the various topics that will be discussed, from operations to leadership to the actual programs that we run, and it's all going to be happening digitally, so that we can also be able to connect with our counterparts in Malaysia and Mexico.
And those keen to be a part of this project or program, what can they do?
So I think the best way is for you to follow us on DIGIFY Africa, because we will also be sharing our progress and our learnings with the program, and also really calling on anyone who would like to support. As DIGIFY Africa, we are really always looking to work with partners and to work with funders who are interested in what we are interested in and are passionate about our same sort of pillars, around access to education using technology. So if you're keen to talk, we're always definitely keen to partner, because I think that it is a challenge that is going to need many organizations to come together in order to address.
Indeed. Great chatting to you, Qhakaza. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you. Well, that was DIGIFY Africa COO Qhakaza Mohare speaking to us about the Aspen Institute and HP Incorporated cohort for the 2023 Digital Equity Accelerator.